Daniel from Wolverhampton Music Service, and in this video I'll be looking at the Grade 4 Clarinet study, Captain Funk. Now this is a fun and funky piece to play. Firstly, I'll be giving a few tips on playing and learning the piece, and then I'll be playing the piece all the way through at the tempo that's marked. As I said, it's fun to play. It's quite fast, although the beat itself is quite steady. It's quite loud all the way through, lots of accents, lots of tonguing, and it must sound as though there's lots of energy in this piece. Now the key of the piece is D minor, although all the C's in this piece are C natural, and you normally have C sharps in your D minor scales, which means that we're actually in the natural minor version of D, rather than the harmonic or melodic minors. It's also very similar to the Dorian mode, which is often used for jazz music, which is similar to the style of this piece. So it'd be very useful to practice your scale of D minor, but use the natural minor where you're playing C naturals instead of C sharps. Now that's the 2-octave scale, but for this piece you really only need to go up to top A, which is an octave and a half, rather than going right up to top D. So just an octave and a half would be absolutely fine. Now, one of the most important aspects of this piece is the rhythm. And once you've got the first 2 bars sorted out, then you've got really the rhythm of the first part and the third and final part of the piece sorted as well. Now, the rhythm of the first 2 bars is actually very similar to each other. The second is just slightly different to the first, just starting a little bit later. So here are the first 2 bars. 3, 4. Now this opening phrase is marked forte, loud, and it's got accents on the first 2 notes and the last note of the bar, with some slurs. There are also staccato notes a bit later, so it's really important to just overdo the articulation, the tonguing, because that's such an important part of the style of this piece. So just the first section now, which goes to the end of bar 8. 3, 4. So that requires quite a lot of energy, especially for the tonguing, but you'll also need quite a lot of breathing, making sure probably that you breathe every 2 bars for this piece. Now the third and final section of the piece is almost identical to the first section I just played, except it's just got a little bit added on at the end just to finish the piece off with a little bit of change as well. So I will just play the last 4 bars of the piece, just to show the very ending, where it does get very loud, fortissimo, with extra accents. 3, 4. Now the middle section of the piece, from bar 9, is quite a different style, with quite a different melody and shape to it. But again, still a lot of tonguing and articulation is involved. It's marked mezzo forte, MF, so only moderately loud. So a little bit quieter than the opening and the final sections. So trying to make a difference in the loudness, make it a bit quieter than the other sections of the piece. There is also a little ornament, what we call a grace note, appoggiatura, just in bar 12. So just to be very careful to play a very quick D sharp going on to the E. So if I just play bar 12 from the beginning of the bar. 2, 3, 4. So you can just about hear that D sharp squeezed in before the E. Now this middle section must have a slightly more flowing feel to it, a lot more slurs every two notes on the quavers. So I will play from bar 9 to the end of the second section, bar 16. 3, 4. And of course in bar 12, don't forget to use your left hand C just before your very quick D sharp up to the E. Because this is a study piece, it is played without piano accompaniment, and I really recommend that you practice this using a metronome. So I would get yourself a physical metronome or a metronome app so that you can hear it clicking as you're practicing all the way through. This will help you to really give a sense of the steady beat in your performance, and it will also help you with the rhythms of the opening phrases of the piece. So the rhythm of the first 2 bars has accents both on the beats and of course on the syncopated last note of the bar, which is the final semiquaver of the 3rd beat. But it's really important that you are definitely on the beat for those first, 2nd and 3rd beats, and the 2nd and 3rd beat of the 2nd bar and the 4th bar, etc. So I'm going to set my metronome just to demonstrate the first 4 bars, and I'll set it for crotchet equals 88 as it says on the music. So you'll hear 2 bars of clicks, that's 8 in total, before I start playing. And as I said earlier, once you've got that rhythm sorted, then you're fine for most of this piece. So I'm going to now perform the whole piece with the metronome, and again you'll hear 2 bars of clicks before I start playing. So I hope you enjoy learning this piece. It's a really fun piece to play, and also enjoy playing along with that performance. Don't forget, it needs lots of energy, loud all the way through, and lots of tonguing and articulation. And don't forget to look out for further video releases from the Wolverhampton Music Service. Thank you.